People watched and were moved to tears. It took a whole year to make, and everyone praised it properly. Let's step into this exciting world together. This is a time when everyone can awaken. But I awakened with a power everyone envies. I can kill armies with just a broken sword. And I can use all kinds of magic. 100 years ago, all over the world, many demon towers appeared. Countless demons flew out of them. They brought endless disasters. In front of these strong demons, humans had no chance. Until humans were about to be wiped out, the first awakeners appeared. They were unbeatable. To stop monsters from coming out, they charged into the towers many times. This was the first invasion from another dimension. Victory! The first awakeners were called heroes. Their legacy was kept in the hero cemetery. And in the library, I was excitedly reading the stories of heroes. A mage who could cast spells without chanting. A swordsman who killed 10,000 soldiers with a tree branch. They are called legendary awakeners. My dream is to be like them, to leave behind my own legend. Now I also have the chosen mark on my hand. I believe I can become an awakener, just like the heroes, but bad luck still came. This year was my third qualification exam. If I failed again this year, I would never get another chance. But fate played a cruel joke. The whole class cheered for passing the exam. Only I stared at the rejection on my phone. Darkness filled my heart. Tears formed in my eyes. Senior, we're going to the entrance party. You, the shame of awakeners. Just clean the classroom. At least you can throw away the trash. It felt like I could never awaken. Is this the gap between dreams and reality? The mark on my hand looked like a scar. It only brought me pain. At that moment, a boy from class showed up. We're almost at the school gate. It was Heike, my classmate from 3 years ago. Now he returned as a top awakener. To be interviewed. In front of reporters, he acted polite. He even excused my lateness. He kept saying how he once helped me. But in truth, he couldn't even remember my name. His friends had to remind him. And back then, he never helped me. All he did was beat me up. He never treated me like a person. He even took my money. And today, Heike wanted me to join the interview filming. But for what? I didn't want to take part at all. I refused to be his background prop. As I was about to walk away from this joke, he said, "You failed again, right? Wasting your day doesn't matter anyway." I remembered the pain from 3 years ago and silently endured it. I forced a smile and joined the interview, saying fake words like, "I'm grateful to Heike." But after it ended, no one would even remember my name. At that moment, I understood. You are seen as good or evil, only depending on power. With power, everyone stands by you. Just then, Heike and his 2 friends came to me. They invited me to the hero cemetery tonight. If I went, he would ask the association to give me a chance without testing. Heike said he only wanted to boost his fame. The details would be told later, even though I doubted it, and I really hated them. I had no choice. This was my only chance. This time it must work. Turns out, Heike's last filming spot was also the hero cemetery. After filming, when everyone left, Heike went deeper inside alone. Found the entrance yet? His 2 friends were digging for the real entrance of the tomb. At that moment, I also arrived. I shouted angrily, "Are you crazy? Do you know who is buried here?" Heike stepped on a stone and sneered, "Of course, but they're just corpses of history." I don't care. I only want the treasure inside. Hearing this, I froze. I thought of the first awakener's deeds, my idols, my dream. I went completely mad. I rushed at Heike wanting to beat him. But he just moved slightly aside and dodged my attack. Then he punched hard into my stomach. The heavy blow made me spit blood. Holding my belly, I rolled on the ground. My vision started to blur. Am I dying? At that moment, Heike's men found the treasure under the tomb. The bag was full of magic items, crystals and weapons. Heike held up a crystal and shouted with joy. The glow is coming from the crystal itself. "I'm going to be rich!" He grabbed my collar and revealed the truth. "Wonder why I tricked you to come here. I heard you always study the first awakeners in the library. So you'll make a perfect scapegoat. You failed the exams, lost hope, and finally decided to steal the treasure. Then you disappeared the next day. Your shining story will be on tomorrow's headlines." How's that for a story? Goodbye. Heike let go of me. Unwilling and furious, I glared, but no sound came out. Am I really dying here? All my training, all the tests, none of it mattered. No one would remember me. At that moment, lights appeared in the water. When I opened my eyes, the lights gathered into human shapes. They were the souls of the first awakeners, the peak of every field. And then, the mark on my hand shone brightly. They noticed too. My mark was of the void attribute. It awakened no skill. But on the other hand, it might show powers no one could imagine. You may choose one of us and form a contract. Archery, magic, swordsmanship, martial arts. Whoever you will gain great power. Though I wanted to be like him, a respected A-rank awakener, what I wanted was unmatched power. Enough power to erase all my shame. So I chose all of them. I want all your powers. Give me everything. They thought it was impossible. But my mark glowed again. In the next second, all the souls were absorbed into my mark. Meanwhile, Heike and the others were about to leave. Suddenly, water burst upward. They were shocked. My body glowed blue. I slowly floated above them, then landed in front of them. I looked at them coldly. They thought I was like a cockroach, crawling back up again. I quietly picked up a branch from the ground. To them, it was ridiculous. "Do you plan to fight us with a stick?" I ignored their mocking. I just waved the branch a few times, getting used to my body's changes. Haichi grew impatient and ordered the beast monkey beside him. Cut off his head now! The magic mark on its hand lit up, and in the air a hunter's sword appeared. Turns out the beast monkey was a level 1 Killing awakened. Me was supposed to be nothing for it. It raised its sword and slashed at me. In an instant, we crossed blows. The monkey still wore a confident smile, but the next second, cuts appeared all over its body. And it let out a heart-piercing scream. The other two were stunned, shocked at the result. You're too weak. Who's next? I asked coldly. The fat one panicked and used a magic attack on me. The gaze of destruction, he shouted, but I only raised one finger. Golden light gathered at my fingertip. A golden lightning bolt shot toward him. He cried, impossible! He didn't even chant a spell. When the smoke cleared, the fat one lay on the ground, lifeless. No way, magic without spells? Impossible! Haichi suddenly remembered the legends. A swordsman who killed an army of 10,000 with just a branch. And a mage who used truth magic, casting any spell without chanting. But now, those old tales were thought to be myths. No one believed they were real, yet the legend was standing before him. He couldn't accept what he saw, but he didn't know the 106 heroic spirits of the first awakeners lived inside me. You trampled my dignity in daylight and left behind your legend. But tonight, you'll remember my new myth. I looked at the changes in my body, hardly believing it myself. My body overflowed with power. The heroes I admired most were now inside my void mark. And judging by their looks, they were satisfied with the space. But every one of them stared at my body, like predators eyeing prey. The first to appear was the swordsman I knew best, Katsugi Ryoichiro. He once used a single branch to wipe out an army of 10,000 monsters. I didn't expect anyone to remember me. He said, what will you do now? I thought he meant Haichi, but I misunderstood. To him, Haichi was just trash. No, I mean the thing behind him, he said. I then noticed the strange sight. The treasure bag behind Haichi was glowing strangely. I hurried forward to check it. He mistook me as a threat and panicked, creating a weapon in the air. I swung a fist, and he was blasted away uncontrollably. Flying dozens of meters, the treasure bag burst open. Countless black shadows poured out. A surge of evil energy exploded. The pressure instantly covered the area. What is this? I gasped. A huge monster appeared before us. Its body radiated evil. It made people tremble in fear. Behind me, Haichi crawled up, shaking. A demon! Why is there a demon here? He shouted in terror. This is one of the bosses from Demon Tower, sealed here long ago by the first awakeners. And now you've released it! Some demons survive by hiding or sleeping for ages. And this one, the embodiment of void, was a black sphere full of eyes, covered in countless tentacles. Danger level, Super S-class. A walking disaster. It released poisonous gas constantly, killing everyone for kilometers around. In my time, demons like this were common. But in this era, it's too much to handle. Haichi trembled in fear. I can't die here! He turned and ran. I quickly shouted, stop! Because this kind of monster will first aim at animals. But it was already too late. All the monster's eyes turned toward Haichi. Suddenly, a tentacle shot out. It went straight at him. He quickly raised his sword, but it was useless. With the sound of the sword breaking, the tentacle pierced deep into his chest. Countless small tentacles spread inside his body. They kept sucking away his life force. In the next second, his flesh was drained dry, leaving only a shriveled body. I already warned you. Too bad you couldn't witness my legend. At this moment, an explosion happened in the city. A three-headed hellhound appeared out of nowhere. It kept destroying everything. Then, a man appeared in front of the hellhound. People nearby cheered loudly. Great! An S-rank awakened one is here. The next second, the hellhound immediately attacked the man, but Kesha just lightly jumped up and punched hard toward the ground. The hellhound was destroyed with just one strike. Does anyone know where Haichi is? Just as Kesha was about to call by phone, a terrifying pressure suddenly came. He turned back and saw the pressure covered the entire city. Everyone on the scene except him was forced to the ground, unable to move. There's no mistake. Even awakened ones can't resist this power. At least an S-rank monster. And the source of the pressure was from the hero cemetery. Inside the cemetery, Haichi actually tried to steal a treasure. He took out the magic crystal that sealed a monster. The embodiment of nothingness. A black sphere covered in eyes. With countless tentacles, danger level. Over S-rank. When Haichi saw it, he ignored the treasure and turned to run. But a tentacle suddenly shot out. Straight at him. It pierced tightly into his chest, draining his life force. The next moment, his flesh was sucked dry. Katsugi Ichiro stepped up and held me. Still not planning to give me your body? This isn't something you can handle now. At this moment, other voices echoed inside me. They were all fighting for control of my body. Is this what you all want? I can lend my body to all of you, but I have only one condition. Show me how strong you really are. One day I will surpass all of you. Hearing this, all the spirits were shocked. Katsugi Ichiro sighed helplessly. Looks like I can't monopolize this body. Then let's begin. I'll go first, guys. With one sword slash, the monster's tentacles were cut into pieces, but the branch in his hand also broke. The monster's counterattack came immediately. Then I switched to another spirit, dodging sideways, and struck the tentacle with a palm, breaking it apart directly. Taking this chance, I bent down and grabbed a wooden staff and swung it at the monster. Using a spinning whirlwind move, borrowing strength from its tentacles, I smashed the monster heavily to the ground. The broken ground launched it into the air. I quickly picked up a bow and arrow, firing countless arrows that hit the monster. Hearing its screams, I didn't stop. This was just the beginning. I hadn't seen all the spirit's powers yet. Then I fought the monster for 300 rounds, using all kinds of skills one by one. Finally, I came to Haichi's corpse and picked up his broken sword. By now, the monster couldn't take my attacks anymore. It turned and tried to escape. At the same time, it swung 2 tentacles at me. Then lightning shone in my eyes. My whole body was covered in electricity. The tentacles burned into ashes instantly. I jumped high. It ends Ultimate now. Move, 1 strike, cut in 2. The monster was split in half. Finally, with the help of all the spirits, the monster was finally killed. But just then, on a tree nearby, a crow saw everything. It witnessed the whole fight. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, a pile of monster corpses were stacked up. And on the top of the pile, a man was sitting, making a call. What? Already defeated? Looks like I was too late. Do you know who killed it? According to the crow's message, it was a student from the academy. Hearing this, the man suddenly got interested. I want to meet him. This man is the strongest awakened in the world. Principal Kan Yuan kindly let me skip the exam. But I blew up his office instead. At the training academy, all the students were still shaken by last night's pressure. Some even bragged, you know what? I was the one who killed that monster. But of course, no one believed them. It's been 10 years since a new S rank appeared, yet rumors spread that the monster was killed by one of us students, and the real one was dragging his tired body past them. After last night's possession, his body felt drained. Just then, a big figure rushed out. He knocked me down. Someone like you can't be an S rank. It was Guimu Ichiru standing before me, looking at me in this state. He sneered, with this? Surpass Where's us? Your pride from yesterday? He then looked around, sensing the whole academy. He said today's awakened ones are no better than normal humans. If the demon tower comes back, the world will be destroyed. Just then, Ichiru sensed a strong aura in the crowd. But before he could think, I got a call from my teacher. Go to the field now for the makeup test. That surprised me. All the classmates hearing this were curious. They'd never heard of an awakened getting a makeup exam. Everyone planned to watch me fail. First test, 100-meter sprint. Average time, 3.6, record 2.7. At the gunshot, I rushed to the end. 1.2 seconds. A new record. The crowd watching was completely shocked. Second test, 3-kilometer run. Average, 4:20. Record, 3:17. I finished easily in 1:17. Next, push-ups in 1:20s. Average, 2:15. Record, 4:18. My score, 8:40. Bench press average, record 620 kilo. My score, 1280 kilo. Everyone's jaws dropped again. To them, I looked like a whole new person. No longer the weakling who failed 3 years. But what they didn't know, I was also shocked myself. Is this your power again? Ichiru explained to me. After last night's battle, my body had completely changed. At the same time, in the principal's office, the world's strongest awakened, Kan Yuan, was checking my data on a tablet. It was actually his idea, to give me this makeup exam. The principal beside him was confused about this decision. He said for 3 years, my physical tests were fine, but I had no signs of magic. He felt it was a waste of time. But Kan Yuan had full confidence in me. Then came the magic test. All the students gathered to watch. I stood in front of the fan machine. In 10 minutes, I had to use magic to spin it. Average score, 1,513 rotations. Record, 4,022 spins. For the past 3 years, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't use magic, let alone make the fan move. But now I can feel it. It's all around me, flowing into my body, and I seem to control magic through breathing, controlling its flow. Then I gather it into my palm and release. The fan slowly starts to turn. It moves like it's part of my body. As my magic keeps flowing, the fan spins faster and faster. The gauge jumps wildly. A strong storm sound bursts out. The scene turns chaotic. Next second, the fan explodes. The blades fly off the ground at high speed. Shooting out, I charge forward with great power toward the school building, straight into the principal's office. A huge explosion shakes the place. After the smoke clears, the blades are stuck in the middle of the building. The principal faints with foam at his mouth, knocked out cold. Only Kan Yuan and his secretary sit calmly on the side. Looks like I've found someone who can grow to my level. This is so exciting, ha ha ha. On the field, I stare at myself in disbelief. Did I do this? The examiner rushes to announce I passed the test. I became a true awakener. Classmates cheer at this historic moment, all excited. I finally passed the exam. 3 years of effort paid off. I took the first step toward my dream. Katsuragi Ichiro already expected it. After last night's battle, my hidden power was awakened. How could the bearer of the void mark be normal? We've waited 100 years. Maybe you're the one who can fulfill our wish. At that moment, a huge energy falls from the sky.